Today we're going to be talking about the return of Fortnite Mobile to iOS devices, hopefully very soon, and all of the juicy bits of information and details that have come out in the last few weeks since the big news and information was dropped that Epic Games does plan to re-release Fortnite on iOS in the coming weeks and months. And since there's a ton of news and information to go over, let's jump into things. Now, I believe it was a few weeks ago when Epic Games did confirm that they intended on producing their own Epic Games Store for iOS devices in conjunction with the brand new side-loading or Digital Markets Act, with the brand new side-loading feature that Apple is bringing to devices in the European Union with the iOS 17.4 update that is coming out on March 6th. This Epic Games Store will allow users to basically download their own little mini Epic Games app store that will allow Epic Games to publish and produce whatever apps they want, mainly Fortnite though for this instance. Allow users for the first time in basically like 4 years to download and play Fortnite Mobile natively on their iOS device without connecting their phone to the PC and downloading sketchy versions of Fortnite or cloud gaming their way into playing Fortnite. So this is all really great news when this was announced a few weeks ago, but since then, over the last few weeks, a lot of little bit of news and information has slowly been getting released, and the bigger picture has been getting formed as to what this whole process is going to look like, how we're going to be able to get our hands on actually playing Fortnite, when we're going to be able to get our hands on it, and most importantly, what devices and what regions are going to get access to play Fortnite Mobile when this update finally comes out and when Epic Games actually releases the Epic Games Store. And well, unfortunately, things aren't as peachy and rosy as we once thought. Now, as I talked about in the original news video, Apple wasn't really excited about releasing this new side-loading feature, and they're actually only releasing this side-loading feature because they're being mandated by law, by regulations from the European Union. They're actually forcing them legally to add this side-loading feature to iOS devices in the European Union because they deemed that Apple devices were too monopolistic, they were too closed ecosystem, and so Apple realized that they were in some hot water and that they could potentially lose a lot of money if more people got access to this feature outside of the European Union and started side-loading apps and downloading these digital third-party app stores and stopped using the Apple payment processing system. And so basically what this means is Apple has done a very good job seemingly of making it really hard to get access to these third-party app stores if you live outside of the European Union. So originally we kind of all had the idea of, oh, it's going to be pretty easy. Even if you don't live inside of the European Union, you're going to be able to download the Epic Games Store pretty easily. It'll just, you can use a VPN or you can make a new Apple ID and it's going to be no problem. However, it seems like they've actually added a new setting and they're using a lot of like internal device features and hardware and software all to come together to basically geolocate your device to say, hey, if you are not physically located within Europe, then you are not going to get access to this feature. And that's a problem because I'm not physically located within Europe and my device wasn't purchased within Europe. So I'm not sure how I'm actually going to get access to the Epic Games Store. And that's going to be a problem we're going to have to solve later on down the road. But I'm just saying this to kind of set your expectations. If you live outside of the European Union, then it is probably going to be harder than we expected to get access to Fortnite on iOS and to mainly the Epic Games Store. I still am kind of cautiously optimistic that once the Epic Games Store is released and people download it and people get the files on their phone, then hopefully we'll get some friendly people out there to download the files, the IPA files, and to upload them to Google Drive or some sort of file service. And so that way we can just sideload them directly from our computer to our device. And we don't need to have the actual sideloading feature on our phone. We can just use the method that we've been using all along. I'm getting a little technical here, but I'll keep you guys updated. But I don't think it's going to be as simple as just downloading a VPN, making a new Apple ID, and voila, you have access to this new side-loading feature and to the new third-party app stores as a part of the new iOS 17.4 update. Now, another big blow is that Fortnite actually won't be coming to iPads a part of this new Epic Games Store. Now, in the original European Union legislation, they only specified iOS. Now, iPad OS is a completely different operating system in the eyes of Apple, and because the European Union didn't specify iPad OS, Apple took that as, oh, we don't have to include side loading in these third-party app stores on iPad OS. And so at the moment, at least how things stand right now, again, I think they're reviewing some legal documents and whatever they're doing over there in the EU, but at the moment right now, the Epic Games Store is only going to be able to be launched on iPhones and not iPads. I don't really think this is going to have a big impact on like the total player base because most people people play Fortnite on phones and not iPads. However, the competitive scene is going to take a big hit. A lot of the competitive players out there back in the day were iPad players. Like 95% of players, myself included, who were competitive players and who played in tournaments and who placed in tournaments, actually made money, were iPad players. So we might not see that big of a return of the competitive scene as I might have been hoping, but this really shouldn't be a big hit to the casual player base. But if you were hoping to be able to play Fortnite on your iPad, I'm not sure how it's gonna happen. Again, maybe you could sideload the app onto your iPad and maybe things will work that way. Again, if we're able to get the raw files and to just upload them to our devices that way. Again, a lot of this is just speculation. We'll have to wait until we get the updates and the game is out to really see what's going to be happening. But for people who live in the European Union, you won't be able to play Fortnite on iPads when the Epic Games Store launches. But for some good news in all this, it's been a lot of bad news and I apologize. But for some good news, Epic Games actually got their developer account reinstated a week ago. It was confirmed by one of the Fortnite like news accounts that Epic Games finally has access to the developer account so they can get started on developing Fortnite for iOS and Fortnite for macOS. I'm not sure if they intend on re-releasing Fortnite for Macs, but for the longest time, everyone's been focusing on like Fortnite hasn't been available to be played on iOS, but also you can't play it on Macs as well, any sort of Apple product. So hopefully this means now that Epic Games has access to the developer account, that they will be able to beat their March 6th deadline. And I mentioned this date in this video before, but March 6th is the day that the iOS 17.4 update comes out, and iOS 17.4 is big because that is the update where the sideloading feature is going to be added. And so that is the very first day in which Fortnite iOS can technically come back. And so that would be giving Epic Games like 3-ish weeks, maybe 4 weeks, to basically take Fortnite on Android that they've been developing and then bring it over to iOS. Now, do I think they could do it? Maybe. Developing a game for a platform you haven't developed on for 3.5 years seems like a pretty tall task. I would be kind of shocked if Fortnite or Epic Games were able to basically take 3.5 years worth of development and within 1 month just say, yep, we're able to fully bring this over to iOS and it works perfectly, no bugs, no issues, 120 FPS, bada bang, bada boom, here you go. If they're able to do that, they're going to be the absolute goats. I am a little worried that they're not going to hit the March 6th launch deadline, but also there's a lot of hype on this feature. There's a lot of eyeballs on this launch. A lot of people really want to play Fortnite mobile on iOS for the first time in years. And so the longer they go without releasing the Epic Games Store, and then more importantly, Fortnite on iOS, it'll just kind of lose the hype, lose the momentum, lose the marketing aspect. And so I know there's pressure on them, and the fact that they have the developer account, they've had it for a week or maybe a little bit longer than that. It's a really good sign, but again, it doesn't confirm a release date. The earliest is March 6th that they could release the Epic Games Store, and then again, that's the earliest you could then download Fortnite on iOS. So again, doesn't confirm anything as far as the release date. I personally think we should expect to see the game sometime in March, but expecting the game to come out on March 6th might be a little optimistic. But that's pretty much all the news we've received over the last few weeks in regards to Fortnite returning to iOS. It's probably going to be a little bit harder to get your hands on this game if you live outside the European Union than we originally anticipated. Also, if you were planning on playing on an iPad, again, it might be possible with like a backdoor method, but at the moment in time, it's just not possible with the native sideloading method that Apple is going to be adding to devices. But Epic Games, they have their accounts. It's possible we could be seeing Fortnite on iOS within 2 weeks. 2 weeks is basically March 6th. We could be gaming, we could be playing, we could be copping to victory royales on iOS devices, on phones, again, on phones, albeit, but still, I would be happy nonetheless to be playing on an iPhone over an Android tablet, I would say. And so if any more big news information comes out over the next few weeks, I'll make sure to let you guys know. I've been scouring the internet trying to find any sort of relevant information that would be pertinent to Fortnite returning to iOS. But again, a lot of it is speculation. As I've been saying in this video, nothing is confirmed. A lot of things are pointing one way, but when the day comes that Epic Games drops the Epic Games Store in Fortnite and iOS, that's the day we're going to be finding out a lot of information, how to get access to it, what devices it's capable on, and all that stuff. So of course, I'm going to be keeping you guys up to date on everything in regards to Fortnite on iOS. If you want to stay updated, if you haven't already dropped a sub, make sure you drop a sub, drop a like if you're excited to play Fortnite on iOS, hopefully within the next few weeks. And with all that being said, it's been DuckyTheGamer, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Doses.